Jesus is my superhero. So we're encouraging all the kids, all the family, their family members, the teachers to wear either a superhero costume or a superhero t-shirt, and just having a great time right after our contemporary service. And that's going to go right into a couple of songs. We'll do a little bit of a skit to get the kids motivated, and then they go off to their Sunday school classes to be with the rest of the time with their teachers. Followed with that, we do what's called a good old church picnic, where we're going to have a bluegrass band and some yard games. And it's just a way for not just the kids to come out and have a great time, but also the congregation, so they can see the excitement and continue the excitement for the day. We're also excited that the following week we have, to specifically talk about our adult classes, we have 5 adult classes that average right now about 40 people. But because we've changed our services around, we're looking at probably more like 60 to 70 people that'll be involved in that. So we're going to have a Donut Sunday, and that's going to specifically talk about, give a kind of a 2 to 3 minute commercial about what's going on in the adult Sunday school program. And then we also have a ministry fair coming up that helps with some of the other things we're going to talk about later on, to help get people knowing and excited, and to also find out how they can get more involved with our ministry fair. And we do that during our stewardship campaign. And then in October, we have our Trunk or Treat Festival, and that's really our biggest opportunity when it comes to community. We have usually last year we had 1,500 people in attendance. When we started this 3 years ago, we had about 300, so we have really grown that program tremendously, and people look forward to that because it's a free way for us to reach out into the community. And then 2 other things that we're excited about is we continue to have, for the last 35 years, we've done a Christmas stocking party, which is a community-based program where we partner with the local schools, and the nurses in the school district of the community gives us names of individuals that we're able to communicate and connect with to help with just to help their Christmas a little bit better, and to also kind of teach them the Word of God, have some crafts and games, and Santa Claus is there, and it's just a great way for us to connect with some of the community folks. And then we're really excited that this year we're starting a new program in December. It's going to be called One Starry Night, which is through the group curriculum. And it's really a neat program, as it's all about the senses, where they're going to be able to feel, taste, smell, etc. The night in Bethlehem. So that'll be another great way for us to connect with the community as well as the rest of the congregation in our church.
Thank you. Wow. I'm tired already. Christine, do you want to share a little bit about what you're doing?
There we go. So I'm excited about a lot of things. I'm real passionate about raising up leaders, because I recognize that if I'm not multiplying myself, we're in trouble. So one of the things we kind of did last year was sort of a soft start for a small group for our small group leaders. So our Sunday school teachers, we call small group leaders. And this is a way for our small group leaders to connect with each other and get to know other small group leaders, the 3-year-old teachers, the 4-year-old teachers, 5th grade teachers, and share ideas, as well as grow in their faith, so that they can be feeding, the many. So I'm very excited about this. We did a soft start in January last year, just to kind of get it going, and it was received really well. So we're looking forward to getting more of our small group leaders involved. Our Kids Connect, that's the name of our program. Our Kids Connect small group leaders involved. Another thing I'm really excited about is our fall festival that is coming up. This is an annual event, and we open up to the community, and a lot of our hopers come to that as well. And what I'm excited about this year is some new leadership, some fresh ideas. It had gotten a little bit dry for a while, and I've got a new team in place. They're bringing in some touch a truck. We've got a petting zoo, some fun games, family events, a way to welcome the community onto our campus and kind of just get a feel for what we're all about, and for kids to have fun and parents to connect with each other. Another thing we're excited about, another annual event that we do, is our gingerbread house party. We have about 100 families, about 400 people come out and build gingerbread houses every year. It's messy and sticky, but it's very fun. Really excited about that. And the The last thing I'd mention is our Kids Connect Cash. So this is a new thing we're doing. It's sort of, some might say bribery, but it's an incentive program to encourage our kids to remember to bring their Bibles. You get Kids Connect Cash if you invited friends. You get Kids Connect Cash for showing extra love or grace or something of that nature. And then they can turn their Kids Connect Cash in for a prize. So we did a soft start with that towards the end of the year last year to give it a feel, see what, how it was received. The kids loved it. We took it away for summer, to leave them wanting. And they're asking for it. They're ready for it to be back in motion. And we don't stop for summer, but certainly we make changes over the summer. So we're excited to bring that back September 9th. September 9th.
Thank you. So Angie, tell me what you're excited about for the coming fall.
So I'm really excited. We're continuing our community outreach programs. We have 2 after-school programs during the week. And we have a very small school district. So we get a huge percentage of the kids in the up to 4th grade attending that twice a week, which is awesome. So this year we're going to be more intentional about trying to bring them in and connect them with sort of like thematic seasonal parties, right? So we have a Valentine's Day party and a Halloween party and all those things, but really be intentional about connecting those kids that just come for the community stuff to also get them in to do some more of the church sponsored stuff, which would be exciting. And activity wise, I'm pretty excited. We just talked about a 5th Sunday having the kids in the sanctuary with us, so making a space just for them to be connected and to be part of worship and serve communion when appropriate, but also on that 5th Sunday to actually stay through the whole service and be part of the entire process, which is really exciting. And then we also just talked about for All Hallows Eve, having the kids take home the week before a kit to make a candle and talk with their parents about who they're going to think about and remember for All Saints Day, and then bring it back the following week so they can also be part of that process and really connect with, what is the message of All Hallows Eve and All Saints Day and that kind of thing. I'm super excited about that.
Well, since you are still unmuted, or you just, I'm going to ask you, in a smaller church, how do you get your volunteers? How do you recruit for volunteers? And is there a way that you train your teachers?
So volunteers is difficult. We do the traditional putting little blurbs in our weekly messages and communications if anyone's interested in volunteering. But for the most part, we've had the most success with reaching out to parents in the community. So kids that consistently come to our activities or that come to the after school programs, connecting with those parents. And it just so happens that we've gotten parents who have had childcare experience, so they're already sort of trained in the childcare process, but then also they're excited about crafts and they're excited about story time and they're excited to play and be a part of that activity. So therefore there's less of that intensive, this is how you play with kids training, and more of the, this is how we play with kids in church training. And then of course we follow Sanctuary, so they do the track 1, but then also we're starting to do, we just scheduled our CPR and first aid training for the end of August. And then we're looking at, just being more intentional and trying to find some resources in the congregation or in the conference that we might look forward to training and sort of inspiring us for what we want to do for the future. So.
Well, that's good. And it's good to hear that the importance of safe sanctuary, even for our smallest congregations, as well as having those safety programs in place. So that's an important piece to make sure that when children come, that you can say that they are going to be safe in your care. So Christine, could you share a little bit about how do you recruit volunteers and train teachers?
So, this is an ongoing thing in children's ministry. Every person that I speak with in children's ministry says the same thing: recruit, recruit, recruit. It never ends. As soon as you have what you need, somebody steps down or moves or whatever, and you're back to the drawing board. So I find that the personal ask works the best. So We always throw it in the bulletin. I put it in the children's bulletin as well. But I find that personal ask and a personal ask on email directed to one specific person, dear Karen or whatever, is good too, but the in-person ask seems to be the best way to go. Another thing that I've learned as our congregation has gotten bigger and bigger is I cannot do it all. And so I encourage our current small group leaders and our large group leaders and to invite folks that they think might be great in children's ministry. Give me their name. I will hunt them down. I will have a conversation with them, vet them, and move them in the right direction if that's where I think God is leading. But the best way is, the more people we have asking, the better. Once we find somebody who we think is good for children's ministry, I will meet with them. Recently, since we opened a second campus, we've brought in another paid children's person who can meet with them as well. So I'm sort of training her while we're doing this. I'll meet with the person. We will fill out the application, background check, all that good stuff. I'll talk about the vision for children's ministry, family ministry, what their next steps are, and what that's going to look like for them to be part of this team at Hope Church. After that, we invite them to observe in a classroom in an age group that they're interested in serving. I have learned the hard way that sugarcoating it and just throwing them in the classroom doesn't end well. They really need to see what they're getting into, because otherwise they quit in a month. So I want them to know what they're getting into. So I give them an opportunity to observe. And once they've done that, typically what we do is we put them on the sub list and we use them as a sub for a small group leader on Sunday morning. Once they've subbed a few times, when an opening comes up, which inevitably is in 2 minutes, then we put them in a classroom and go from there.
Okay, Brian, want to share about how you train and recruit?
Sure. We do very similar activities as with Angie and Christine and with the Safe Sanctuaries. And I can definitely agree with Christine that it's so imperative to get as many people behind you as you can. And the way to do that, one of the things that we have done is really continue to hype up the success. So especially with something like Vacation Bible School, when we're a church of only about 150 people in attendance, and we get almost that in Vacation Bible School children, we create videos. We do the best that we can to hype that up through our congregation, where people then say, okay, how can I get involved into this program that's a success? And each year we've had 60 to 70 volunteers just for Vacation Bible School. So of course, since I have all those people, then I'm trying to pull them into other areas, because why not? They're already there and they're already interested. And one of the things that we're trying this year is we developed a new, we call our small groups Grow Groups, but we've developed a Facebook Grow Group that's going to be specifically on a teacher support group. We have a lot of professional teachers in our congregation, as well as Sunday school teachers, VBS teachers. So we thought this would be a great opportunity for everybody to get into a Facebook group and really just be there for each other virtually. So we're not creating another meeting, we're not creating another time where we have to all physically be together. That way we can throw out ideas and any struggles that they may be having or prayers that are needed. So we kind of are there for that support for our teachers. And that hopefully will continue to be that motivation to continue to want to be involved and know that not only are they out there doing the work, but everybody is supporting each other in one way, shape, or form.
Thanks. So I started out in ministry, being a children's ministry pastor, and then dabbled in that a few times as an associate, as well as really was fairly engaged in children's ministry when I was a local church pastor. And I know that I have tried some things that I thought were going to be the most fabulous ideas, and they just totally fell flat. Baby pools in church basements that, leaked and got the floor all, not good. That wasn't a good choice. And I know sometimes not making sure that all the parties understood why changes were happening, and therefore getting a lot of resistance because people didn't really understand what was going on and having to back up. So would you be willing to share some of your oops moments or something that you thought was going to be great and just fell flat? I'll let the first one who jumps on, I won't call on you for this one.
I'll start. I'm a big component of you have to try it, and even if it does fail, you learn from the mistakes. Or even if it's not really necessarily a failure, as this particular area, which we have a program for our 3rd through 5th graders called Kingdom Kids, which we really wanted this to be a feeder program into our junior high youth groups. That way it gets the kids kind of used to the mentality of youth group, but still for the younger grades. So it's great idea, great thought process that the ed team has. But for the last 2 years, we maybe get 2 or 3 kids out. And it's just something that, as much as we've tried new curriculums, we tried something that was called Gross Me Out series, which was all about the icky, gooey stories of the Bible and the things that were that we can do slime things for, and we're bringing back different games, and it just is not an attraction for some reason to these kids. So we continue to, we're not going to say that it's a flop because we're still trying to figure out new ways to make this happen, because we have a youth group of about 20 kids. So to get these, I think this is such a very important program to get them used to and wanting to come out to junior high and continuing that part of the program. But we just have tried everything and it just seems to not be going well, but we're not giving up. Hopefully we're going to come up with new ideas, new plans, but that's kind of where we're at with that program.
Anyone else to be brave?
I can be brave. So I'll share with you 2 things that didn't work. And they actually both were recent things. I don't know if you remember last year, the kids were really excited about painting rocks and leaving them all over New Jersey, right? So I try to stay current. My kids are getting older now, but I heard about this. This is great. Let's do it. So we go out and we get all these rocks, and we've got all these families that come out, and it's like, bring your favorite pizza to share and paint a rock. And I thought they'd put like #HopeChurch and it would be great. It wasn't. So we had paint everywhere. We tried to like shellac them so that they would stay painted, and all the kids' artwork ran, and it just was such a failure of an event. Lots and lots of people, and we just did not execute it the way we had hoped. So that was the one thing, and I'm okay. I'm like, all right, moving on. That's fine. One thing I'm a little sad about that didn't work was I had tried to do a Saturday morning family Bible study just for an hour. We called it Bagel and a Bible. And you would just come with your Bible, and I would provide bagels and just a short lesson and a little craft and some family conversation. And I did it for about, 10 weeks or so. It just did not catch on. And I thought it was so clever. I was like, this is great, Bagel and a Bible. We would have just maybe 2 or 3 families come out. We never grew past, 10 people. It just would not catch on. So I'm not going to give up on this because I still think it's a good idea. And typically if something doesn't work, I get rid of it and I'm done. But I feel like maybe it was the wrong time of day or the wrong season, so I feel like I just want to give it one more shot for a few weeks and just see what happens, because the idea of families doing Bible study together excites me. So I want to give it one more shot. I can't give up on this.
Okay, Angie, you have something?
I do. So I think that my biggest oops that I've come across is when I try to hold really closely to a particular curriculum. So if I don't really assess how much I think my kids are going to enjoy it, and then I try to really go like verbatim with the curriculum, because I got to tell you, I've not met that many kids that like to sing. And so when a curriculum has a whole, 15-minute block around singing some songs that are like thematically appropriate, my kids just want nothing to do with that. And they tend to get really annoyed with me. So I think that not being flexible when I look at a curriculum and not preparing backup activities, and that backup activity might just be Play-Doh, or it might just be let's go run around the cemetery. But if I don't have my list of, fail safe, save me from the situation because my kids are getting really antsy activities, then I'm usually in a lurch, and that's not good.
And I did promise that I wasn't going to ask you something that wasn't on the questions, but I am going to ask you one thing. Could you each share how long, when does your program start as far as time of year? So you're restarted, what date is that? And the second is, how long do your kids stay in the sanctuary? Do they stay in the sanctuary part of the service and then go downstairs? Is it completely different service time and children's ministry time? So if you could answer those two things. So what date are things going to start, and how long do the kids stay in the sanctuary? Brian?
So everything for us starts in September. We usually go until about the end of June, and we take a break in July and August. We typically have a separate time for our Sunday school, and a lot of our children's activities happen either after church, right after church, or in the evening, coinciding with youth groups. That way, if the parents have a child in, let's say, 3rd grade to attend Kingdom Kids and an 8th grader to attend junior high youth group, that way they're not having to figure out when to drop people off all the time. We are trying something new this year where we're going to be having a startup of children's church, which we have not offered in a very long time, which will happen during one of our services. The only time that the kids come in for our services, they're usually we do offer a nursery for different ages. They'll come in for our Kids Corner moment, which is the children's the sermon, but then they do leave again. So they're only in that time frame, in the church sanctuary for that time frame.
Angie.
So we are kicking off Sunday school this year, September 16th. That's just the week that our community programs are starting also. So that's why we decided to kick off and do our Sunday school rally then. And our kids stay through the opening worship. So we usually have call to worship, a series of songs, and then we do children's time, where they come up and sit on the stairs and they get their little children's message, and then they go downstairs. So they're in Sunday school during the majority of the service, and then parents come down after service ends to pick them up.
Okay, and Christine?
So we run all year round. As we've gotten larger, we used to take a few weeks off here and there through the summer. We don't do that anymore. So September 9th is sort of our Kids Connect kickoff, where the kids bump up to the next age level or age group. And then July and August, while we're still running a Sunday school program, we change it up and we call it our Summer of Service. So there's 9 weeks in the summer instead of doing our typical curriculum that we use. What we do is we pick a different service project every week, and the kids learn about either a different organization, or whether we're serving the police or we're serving kids at a local school, or friends at the nursing home, whatever. So each week, all summer long, that's what they do. It's at 9 o'clock and 10:30 are our two services at the one campus, and 10:30 at the other. Our kids program runs the same exact time as the services run. The kids don't go into the worship space. Years ago, we did it like you, Angie, where we had a kids message, and it was fun and it was great. But then as we got bigger, it got chaotic for them to leave, 15 minutes into the service and get them back and get them sorted into their classrooms and all that good stuff. So we transitioned to a large group, small group forum back there, where the kids start out together and they have their own large group with their own worship back there, and then they separate into their small groups. We do the same thing at both campuses all year round.
So Christine, how have you felt adapting from a program that has 90 kids to a program that has like 12 kids?
At the other campus?
Yes.
So, well, a couple things. First of all, the program at Voorhees campus is well established, and people know it. We've got a lot of volunteers that have been there for quite some time. You know, of course, we lose volunteers all the time, but some core volunteers. I find that there are pros and cons to both. So at the new campus with 10 kids, it's an interesting environment because you can do things with a smaller amount of kids that you can't do at the big campus. You know, I'm getting to know them and love them, and at the larger campus, I don't have the one-on-one relationship with the kids that I used to have years ago when we were smaller. So, like I said, there's pros and cons. We can do some really neat activities over there, games that you can play that you couldn't play with these larger classrooms. But the worship feeling that we do in the beginning, our large group, certainly feels different at the Voorhees campus with 40 kids in the room, or whatever that looks like that day, versus the 10 kids over there, because we do by age. Our large groups are by age. So I love both. I really do. I love both campuses for different reasons. I think there's a lot to gain from a large campus and a lot to gain from a small, and you just have to look for what that is.
Great. So what are you doing to engage children outside your church family in, either in the past or any special plans for the future? So Christine, you want to keep going?
Obviously, you discovered I can just keep going and going and going. So one of the things that we're currently doing is we've partnered with Chick-fil-A in Mount Laurel. So we're doing family nights there. So Chick-fil-A allows us to use their space, and they benefit because families come in and buy meals. They're advertising, we're advertising. And the family night is an opportunity for families to sit together and have dinner, and we provide everything that they need. So we did 7 of them over the summer. Actually, we have 2 left, so we've done 5 so far. And we just, took like the fruits of the spirit. So one week was about patience, and one week was about joy, and there was a craft that went along with it, and then some family discussions, and then a take home for them to talk about. And of course, included in that is an invitation to come, to either one of the campuses. So I've really enjoyed that aspect, getting to know new people, and just planting seeds and hoping that they join us someday.
So give us a little, because I think that's a great idea, and many people might have a Chick-fil-A near them. Give us some particulars as far as how you went about that, and what do you do while you're there besides hand out papers to families?
So we actually started partnering with Chick-fil-A, this particular Chick-fil-A, about a year ago, knowing that we were opening a campus in that area. And so we asked if they had anything coming up that we could, just jump on board. And they were doing a trunk retreat. So we decorated a trunk and brought all of our stuff and pumpkins to paint, and we participated and started building that relationship, having lunch there, getting to know the people at that Chick-fil-A. What was the second question?
And then what did you do while you were that night, on the family night, besides hand out papers? So
I try to hold back a little bit, but really I'm there to make friends, so I'm talking to people, I'm getting to know people. I love little people. So I'm chatting them up. If I feel like they are receptive, then I'll share about our church. If they ask, wait, you're just a church giving out free crafts? Yes, we are. Let me tell you more. Don't ask me a question, because I will start. So really, I'm just there, just sharing Jesus's love. And we bring some volunteers along. If you have any questions, I try not to attack them while they're eating dinner. Eat your chicken sandwich, and then I'm coming over. And that's about it. It's good stuff.
Great. So Angie, how about you? What do you do to engage children outside the church family?
So we offer the after-school programs, which really came out of the kids own enthusiasm and their own request. Initially, the big program on Wednesdays after school has probably been running for 9 years, I think. And that is just like a free-for-all, come and do whatever. There's sometimes planned activities, more than not, they're just bonkers off the wall and playing with all of our toys. But it's really made the kids comfortable and want to come back. So then, having that space, being comfortable in that space, and then when we offer a community activity like a Valentine's Day party after church, or a movie night outside, the kids already feel comfortable, they're excited, and then they want to come. And then from that grew a second night. They wanted to have Lego clubs. So now there's a second night that's more geared towards Legos. I don't know that the Legos consistently happen. I think it's probably also a free-for-all, but it's very fun. And then this summer, we are a really small community, and there is a very well-established Vacation Bible School program in our community. And so we work closely with the other churches, and we don't want to step on toes. So we didn't offer Vacation Bible School, but we did offer like a mini summer camp 3 days a week. So, and that was, again, not along the same time as theirs, or the kids actually, a lot of the kids that wanted to do VBS just that week, they weren't at our program, and then they came back the following week. But it gave parents a break. It gave kids a chance to be there and have some fun. And it really connected with a lot of families that we hadn't seen yet, but also kept us connected with the kids that we spent the whole year growing a relationship with.
Great, thanks. Brian.
So we, everything, we kind of have started ourselves with our conversations. So we used to plan for our church and invited the community, and we've kind of reversed that. We've always planned for the community and encouraged and invited our church. So that way, that was always something that we kept in the forefront of our minds, is that this is for the community. Our church is already here. We keep them happy with a lot of our programs. So we do the things like trunk or treat and the Christmas stocking party and the one starry night. And then we just started for the spring, because we wanted to try to offer some type of event for every season. The spring was always lacking something. We do a small Easter egg hunt, but we really did something called Kids Night Out. So we encouraged, we were able to partner with our local schools, hand out flyers to all the kids in the spring, and send home just an opportunity for us to spend 2 hours. And it was just a way for kids to come and have fun. And we had songs that our worship team played. We rented lights, DJ lights, and lit up the entire sanctuary. We had glow sticks, and we had flashlights, and it was just a neat way for kids to see church's fun. And at every event, we always have next events planned. So the next thing was Vacation Bible School, and that's one of our biggest community outreaches that we do, because we not just offer VBS, but we also offer at 5 o'clock, because our VBS is during the evening time, we offer a community dinner. So we encourage all of the community to come for dinner. So the kids come with their parents and their siblings, or whatever the case, and we partner with local restaurants, like Taco Bell gives us 300 free tacos, and Heritage's, which is a local Wawa in a sense in South Jersey, gives us free hoagies, and we get all of these different opportunities. So it's not costing us really anything, but it's also a partnership with our community businesses, who then can see, wow, we're feeding 200 people each night, and then the kids stay for Vacation Bible School. So it's a neat way for us to connect, not just with people that we're trying to get to come to church, but also businesses to see what we're trying to do for the community, and not just trying to get them into the four walls.
So we're beginning to think about wrapping up. So tell me, when you think over the seasons that you have been in children's ministry, and what's going before you, what is your one greatest blessing? You can just jump in.
I would say for us, our programs are just growing because our church is excited, and that has really helped us to kind of change our mindset of not doing things for just our church and inside the four walls. It's all about planning for community. And my volunteers are just amazing. And Christine said it, Angie said it, you cannot do this. I know some people obviously cannot get 70 volunteers to help out with VBS, but just even forming, we developed an education team this past year, because what I was just doing was just trying to grab people as much as I could to help. But this education team has taken over some of the ideas and the planning and the implementation, so it's not just falling on one person or the same people all the time. So it get the volunteers and just the excitement that people have in this church to keep coming up with ideas and ways to connect with the community. It's just amazing to me.
Okay.
I think that my my greatest blessing in serving in children's ministry for the past 10 years is that I've gotten to see kids go from pre-K to high school, and been with them that entire time. So last year at Ignite, I got to witness kids answer an altar call that I saw get baptized. And that was just really cool for me to see the whole transition and progression of their faith journey. And now we have kids going off to college that I had, and, you know, it's just exciting to see them grow and develop and grow their faith, and you know, just really want to be involved. Like, we get more enthusiasm from our high school kids when it comes to things like Ignite and creation that we as youth directors and ministry leaders could ever muster. So the fact that they want to go and they're begging us to go, and they're so excited months in advance and asking what's going to happen, you know, that's the greatest joy.
Thanks. And Christine.
So the three things that came to mind. So Brian, you hit on the volunteers. Some of them are amazing and have become like my best friends. I have watched students as well go from little itty bitties, you know, to graduating. One of my own, my daughter who's 20 is actually getting married in a few months to someone she met in the children's program. So it happens. It's super cool. If I had to pick like one blessing, I would say great leadership. Our lead pastor, Jeff Bills, is amazing, and he allows us to try things. He allows us to make mistakes. He has an amazing ability to lead leaders. And that has been such a blessing to me, because I am able to turnkey it and share it with the leaders that serve underneath me. So all those things.
Thanks. Well, I am really grateful for the time that we have spent together tonight and the opportunity that we've had to have conversation. Anyone have any important parting words before we sign off? Well, thank you for everyone who came on to this call, and I would invite you, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My email is the same one as you got the sign-on information, gnjumc.org. We are going to meet again. We're going to meet every other month, so we're going to meet again in October. In October, Brenda Elders is going to join us, and she's going to talk about planning for Advent and Christmas. And that date will be on October 10th. We'll get together, and she has a lot of wonderful ideas across the size span of Sunday schools about planning for those two important things. And then in December, we are going to meet with a panel that's going to talk about how do we do teen Sunday school? How do we do teen small groups? What is the different ways between having teens stay in worship as well as and take part in worship, as well as the importance of them to have small group time. And so I am grateful for all of you to take your evening and to be online with us. And Please, blessings for the night and blessings for the rest of your summer. I hope that you get to do a couple fun things before you're back to school. And thank you to Brian and Christine and Angie for sharing your wisdom, your love of children's ministry, and your love of God with us. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.